across a frozen field in the Wild West. Ruthless Bill pedals her bike and spots Lula watching from a distance. Bill soon reaches a chapel holding a funeral. The crowd clears a path, fully aware of her reputation, and lets her grab a coat from the coffin. Meanwhile, Lula heads home where her brother Jack tells her their parents have died from smallpox. Torn with grief, she stares at their bodies before grandfather Caleb shows up. Together they pray one last time, then torch the house to keep the plague from spreading before leaving for their aunt's place in Texas. In a deserted town, Bill reconnects with her gang. At the river crossing, they see Caleb's family already paid for the ferry. Bill asks Caleb to cover her crossing too, while also flirting with Lula. Caleb pulls his pistol to defend his granddaughter, prompting the gang to draw theirs as well. Suddenly the ferry rope snaps, startling Caleb into firing. The bullet grazes Bill's head, and she retaliates by shooting Caleb twice, killing him. The gang knocks Jack out and abducts Lula. Later in Sylvester Town, the crew raids a shop for supplies. The owner holds a gun but loses his nerve and obeys. Bill taunts him by forcing candy into his mouth. Outside, Lula stirs on horseback and spots the man's son, urging him to run. The gang hears her warning, turns back, and the shopkeeper opens fire, injuring one bandit's hand before Bill executes him with a bullet to the head. Lula flees but slips in the mud when the boy tries to help. He's shot dead. Bill drags Lula back into captivity. By the river, Jack awakens to find Lula and the cart gone. He prays for Caleb but collapses in anguish. Searching for his sister, he arrives in Sylvester where townsfolk are about to lynch a man they assume is Bill. Believing the man might be tied to the gang, Jack tries to ask about Lula, but the furious crowd shoves him down. Looking up, he sees Jimmy Sue being shoved into a carriage by Hector, but the chaos drowns out her cries. The accused man is hanged, and when Jack attempts to intervene, he's struck unconscious by an angry local. In the woods, the gang rests. Lula says her brother will come, but Bill claims Jack is dead. While tending a comrade's injury, Bill fails to notice Lula steal a pistol from a saddle. Too frightened to use it, Lula loses the gun, and Bill fires near her head as punishment. At dawn, Jack awakens beside the hanged corpse. Gravedigger Eustace nearly buries him alive until Jack stirs. Eustace says the gang rode north. Jack tries to rent his cart, but it belongs to Eustace's partner, Jones. In a tavern, Jones argues with an alderman who tries to underpay him and mocks his size. The fight ends swiftly, with Jones wounding the man's arm and holding him at gunpoint to collect full payment. As the alderman orders his friends to pursue, Jones frees their horses to slow them. Under fire, Jones is whisked away by Eustace, who's hiding Jack in his cart. Outside town, Jack pleads for help, mentioning Lula and Bill's bounty. Using his scoped pistol, Jones scares off their pursuers with a precise shot. Still, he refuses to aid Jack, so Jack follows anyway on a stolen horse. Meanwhile, Bill burns Lula's dress to make her blend in with the gang, replacing it with a man's shirt. That night, Jones tries to rob the sleeping boy until Eustace convinces him the bounty might be worthwhile. Jack wakes, and Jones agrees to help her but only if Jack works for him. By morning, the alderman hires Simon and Malachi, the DC brothers, to kill Jones. That day, Jones's crew rests. Jack repeats Caleb's biblical wisdom, but Jones corrects him it's Shakespeare. Elsewhere, Lula asks to relieve herself, cutting her hand on a branch and leaving blood behind. That night, one gang member tries to assault her. She smashes a bottle on his head and cries out. He pretends she tried to run, but Bill doesn't buy it and cripples him by the groin. Later, Bill curls up beside Lula protectively. The DC brothers soon find Lula's blood. Meanwhile, Jack's group trades the cart for horses. At a tavern, Jack discovers Jimmy Sue forced into sex work. He pays to see her but confesses he wants to free her. Skeptical, she agrees, but Hector intervenes. After a brutal brawl, Jack downs him with a fire poker, and he and Jimmy escape. She reveals where the gang was last seen. In the woods, Lula learns they're bound for the Thicket, an isolated hideout. She also hears of other kidnapped girls, one dismembered for trying to escape. That evening, Jones's group captures a gang member but can't torture a confession out of him. Jones discovers Bill's bounty is meager and storms off, but Jack and Jimmy promise care if the man talks. He reveals the thicket before dying. Lula seizes her chance to flee, only to run into the DC brothers, who offer protection. At camp, Bill arrives, kills Simon, and reclaims Lula, leaving Malachi grieving. Next day, Jack offers Caleb's land as payment, and Jones agrees to help, arming Jack with a pistol. They find the gang in a town inn. Inside, Jones meets Bill. They exchange insults but gain mutual respect. Bill even shares candy. Outside, Lula overhears her brother's name, realizing he's near. Eustace, Jimmy, and Jack set up an ambush, but Malachi arrives, taking Jimmy hostage. After hearing of Simon's death, he joins the team for revenge. Meanwhile, Bill storms into a church and assaults the priest. Later, Jones's team learns she burned the church down, leaving the priest scarred. He tells them how Bill's abusive mother caused her scars before Bill set her ablaze as a child. Tensions flare between Jones and Jack, but Jimmy unites them, reminding all of their fear and the need for teamwork. In the forest, Lula asks Bill if she'll kill her. Bill answers uncertainly, even resting her head in Lula's lap. Snow soon erases the gang's trail, but Jones's group pushes into the thicket. That night, Jones admits his tragic past to his mother's suicide and his father selling him to a circus. He reassures Jack that Lula will always remember him. At dawn, they spot the gang holed up in a shack. Malachi rushes in for revenge and is slaughtered. Jimmy breaks cover and fires, starting a firefight. Jones slips behind the house, but Lula emerges and Bill drags her off into the fog. Jack chases into the woods despite warnings. Elsewhere, Jimmy duels a thug but is fatally stabbed as they die together. Jones discovers Eustace mortally wounded and sets up for a final shot. Jack follows Bill's laughter in the forest. She wounds both his shoulders and prepares to finish him. Out of bullets, she hesitates, giving Lula time to attack. Bill regains the upper hand, knife poised over Lula, when Jones shoots her in the head. Bill whispers "Mama" before dying. Jack and Lula embrace, but Jack succumbs to his wounds, dying in her arms. Jones finds Eustace, who dies satisfied that Bill is gone. Lula severs Bill's head, and she and Jones deliver it to a sheriff. Though the sheriff wants Jones recognized, he insists on anonymity. To their surprise, the large bounty was genuine after all. With new clothes and a wagon, Lula tells Jones she's alone now and asks him to stay. Later, at Caleb's land, they bury Jack in the yard. Lula bears a scar on her neck from Bill's knife, proud of her survival.